you've done all this work to build this narrative and this story about the project that you're working on. Why not go share it with the Hackaday community and, put your name in the hat for the prize? It makes sense. I am Clarissa Redwine from Kickstarter. I'm Senior Outreach Lead for Design and Technology for the East Coast. Bringing a hardware project to life is so complex, and especially if you're taking manufacturing outside of the country, going to China, something like that, that there are so many hurdles that are just invisible to most creators and even to large companies as well. So at Kickstarter, our philosophy is we try to learn as much as we can from the community. So we listen to comments being made by backers as well. Like that, they are a very active part of our vetting process, is listening to of what concerns they have about a product. But also before projects launch on Kickstarter, a human being here at Kickstarter who's part of our trust and safety team will look at the project page. We'll see if they have the requirements, which is a prototype shown on the page that is in a video, an uncut video showing all of the features that they're promising to backers. That is a requirement that we look for. And then also we try to keep renderings off of the page so that we're not creating false expectations of where the project is for the backers. Because not every backer is part of the Hackaday community and understands that renderings are not a real product. And some renderings can be pretty slick nowadays. So our trust and safety team will look and see if they have a prototype, see if they don't have any renderings, and then we'll approve the project, or we'll send feedback to the creator saying, hey, we need a little bit more documentation. So that's another step. Yeah, but now it's like you can't rely on press anymore for launching a Kickstarter campaign. So what you really have to focus on is building up a community before you launch and sharing with them about the process of building a hardware project and also why you're building it in certain ways, the thought behind it, and listen to feedback before you launch on Kickstarter so that you're building a project that has appeal to the audience that you want to talk to. All of these have become much more critical now. It's different for every project. Like someone who's building a badge life project is going to approach building community much differently than someone who's building a satellite, Yeah. So it depends on the project for sure, and you are the best expert on your own community. But some good ways to do it is finding places where projects are shared and talked about in meaningful ways, like Hackaday. Hackaday is a really great place to share your project, start building a following around what you're working on, and to learn more about what people are looking for in a product that you're building or in a tool that you're building. The beautiful thing about building a community is you can fine-tune how you're communicating about your project. What is resonating with your audience before you launch a Kickstarter campaign, because once you launch a Kickstarter campaign, it is so important to have a clear message, a focused list of features that you're presenting to your audience and pretty much promising to deliver. So doing that work before you launch is pretty important. Building a prototype is the tip of an iceberg to actually delivering a project. So not only do you need to think about, do you need engineers that have skills that you don't have? Do you need a designer to actually think about the experience that your backers will have? But also, do you need a community manager? Do you need someone who loves speaking to your backers and will help you manage community inbound comments and questions and things like that? That is a very important part of building a strong brand and a strong project, is the relationship that you're building with your backers. So a team is important. A balanced set of skills is important to have as part of any project if you're thinking about scaling it up from prototype to product. One thing that creators are already doing on Hackaday is documenting the process of bringing a hardware project to life. That is also very important on Kickstarter. And to remember, as you're going through the journey, to take photos, take videos of prototypes that are just like, sputtering out of control. Things like that are very endearing and fun to see on Kickstarter. So yeah, just keep in mind that as you're building your community, as you are fine-tuning your communication and how you talk about your project, also be documenting the design process and the prototyping process so that you can show those assets on Kickstarter itself, because that's why people come to Kickstarter. They don't come to Kickstarter to buy a product. They come to Kickstarter to learn about the process behind bringing something very interesting to life. I would really love to see more projects that are considering the journey that they're taking with the backers. And when I say that, I'm really talking about having a commitment to sustainability. So now hardware projects are no longer useful to think of your project as a point in time. Oh, I'm making a thing, I'm shipping it to backers, that's the end. You really need to start thinking about how your electronics project is going to have a life cycle, where it's going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, and think about how you build in a process for backers to disassemble it, to repair it, to recycle it in the right way. So that's what I want to see more of on Kickstarter, is creators thinking about sustainability as they build their projects through modularity, through sustainable materials, even through the journey of how they're sourcing their parts. For me, I go to SuperCon every year, and we all huddle, get crammed into this room, and we're so excited to see what the prize, announcements are. That is my personal favorite part of the Hackaday Prize, is like this feeling of community, and that we're all in this together, and we're building technology that has a real impact and a real social impact and can change culture in many ways. That is really exciting about the Hackaday Prize.